This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday the 29th day of May in the year 2018. Here is what we're tracking tonight. A call for an apology was issued today from protesters outside the privately operated Mays School, as they directed that call to the school's administration for a decision last week to ask the parent of a young boy to not have him in school bare-chested as part of his indigenous wear for Culture Day. The boy's mother, Karen Small, was among the protesters, and she told News Source that she was told directly by the headmistress of the school that a child could not enter the premises unless he was covered up.
And I'm thinking, how do you look at a parent and say the heritage that he chose to embrace, you're telling him that is inappropriate? How do you not look at me and say, I'm sorry, because you did initially say that it's inappropriate.
Representatives of the Amerindian People's Association and the National Tushaus Council joined the protest outside the school this morning. Also a part of the protest were several Amerindian rights activists.
It can stem to bullyism. Kids are kids, and some of them would go with it and say, they always say, Bok people, stupid. But I want to say publicly that this breed of Bok people today, we are not stupid. We will stand up. We have right like any other race in this country.
Private institutions can have whatever rules they want. However, a letter was written to the parent requesting or asking that the child come in his cultural wear. No rules were attached saying that you can't come like this. And as a people, we are free, we have a right to show who we are.
We have not received any word, not a single utterance from this institution to Amerindian people. You disrespected an entire race. That child represents an entire race of people, the first people of this country. And you don't have the decency to come and apologize or say we made a mistake and we're sorry. And that is why we're here, because people have to stop disrespecting us.
When News Source sought to get a comment with the head teacher of the school, we were told that the administration had no comment to offer. Other parents who were there to uplift their children this afternoon at the same time looked on but would not offer any comments either on the issue. The protesters said they are awaiting that apology from the school's administration. In the aviation sector, a new board of directors of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority was installed this morning with plans to focus more on security and safety of the skies over Guyana. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence London returns as the chairman of the board. The other members are Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Kenneth Jordan, Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Egbert Field, Lieutenant Colonel Courtney Byrne of the Guyana Defense Force, Professor Justice Duke Pollard, Chetty Jagan Airport Chief Executive Officer Ramesh Gir, Sharon Beverly, Sadie Amin, and Leon Castello. In brief remarks at the installation, Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, praised the work of the Civil Aviation Authority over the past 2 years. She said Guyana's aviation sector has seen several improvements, and the country's aviation ranking is being improved steadily. She would like to see the new board continue that trend.
So let us continue to work together, both Board of Directors and the government. Rest assured, we will give full support to your activities and the programs you have.
The chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority said the new board will hit the ground running and will depend on government for its support. Still with aviation matters, almost 2 weeks after a Cuban Airlines plane crashed just after takeoff for a domestic flight in Cuba, killing more than 100 people, the chairman of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Lawrence London, believes Guyana should have done more to raise its concern over the plane and its operations with the International Civil Aviation Body. Although the cause of the crash is still unknown, just over a year ago, Guyana banned the same aircraft from operating in this country after it was found to be breaching several safety procedures and practices.
While we were able to prevent it from happening over Guyana, maybe we should have done a little bit more through ICAO to prevent it from happening, period.
Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, Egbert Field, explained that the issue with the aircraft in Guyana was initially raised by a private citizen, and once it got to his desk, an investigation was launched. That investigation revealed that the Mexican crew of the aircraft was allowing the overloading of the plane in the cabin itself, with walkways being blocked and even the washrooms being used to store bags.
And we found there was a lot of overloading. Bags stacked in between the rows and the seats in the rear, passengers legs on top, sitting, and you know, anytime you're in an aircraft, the cabin attendant would pass through the aisle just before takeoff to ensure that the aisle is cleared. And that is mainly done for safety reasons.
Asked by news source whether sanctions could be taken against the handling companies, Mr. Field explained that the airport handlers do not currently fall under the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, but it's an issue that the authority will look at since it is all related to aviation security. And finally this evening, news from the courts. Days after the supply manager of a local mining company was found dead in his Georgetown apartment, the main suspect in the stabbing murder made his first court appearance this afternoon. He was remanded to jail after being charged with a capital offense of murder. 20-year-old mechanic Anthony Ragnott appeared before Magistrate Lerone Daly and was not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charge. The court was told that on the 21st of May 2018 at Thomas Street, South Cummingsburg, the young mechanic murdered Neil White in his apartment. White was a Canadian citizen who worked at the Guyana Golfields Company. His lifeless body was found naked with his hands tied and mouth gagged. One of the attorneys representing the accused claimed that he was beaten by the police while in custody. She requested that a medical examination be ordered. The matter will return to court on the 18th of June. A post-mortem examination on the body of 42-year-old Neil White found that he was stabbed multiple times. Police investigators picked up the mechanic based on information received, and he reportedly led them to an Alberton house where they discovered the murder weapon and some of the dead man's belongings. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.